Hello there, everyone. I hope that all of you are safe and sound, and I'm happy to have you for my new video of Flight Chef. This time around, on a day where a lot of countries in Europe are opening their borders for tourism and for flights. We're going to take a look today on the general state of play and what do I think is interesting to see and to look at in the near future on the travel front. So enjoy. So hi there. After the first introduction, I'm happy also to welcome you to this board. It will be this time a little bit of a shorter video and a more compact one with only one board here. But I think, yeah, we have enough things to discuss and to have a look at in order to encompass a bit of everything that is going on right now. As you now see, made a bit of a break on the bailout videos because the dates say it. From today, the 15th of June, 2020, most of the 22 European Union countries in the Schengen area, so within the Schengen trade area in Europe, having a euro as well, they are now, most of them, opening up the borders from today. But you will see that it's on the board. It's the 15th of June of today. It's the 1st of July, and it's up until August. So why is that? Because it is most of the 22 EU Schengen countries opening up the borders today, but there are always some exceptions and some differences. For example, Spain, as one of the most heavily hit countries in Europe on COVID, will only open its borders from Sunday, the 21st, of June, when they will lift their state of emergency in order to allow not only movement within the country, but also, yeah, letting in people from Europe. And then there are also some other details that should be mentioned because as not all countries within Europe, even though they're members of the European Union, which was actually one of the widely criticized things about the European Union countries and European countries in general, how they behaved in the beginning of the crisis, was that there was no real concerted effort, but every country more or less went their own way. In the end, most of the countries' closure of the borders happened pretty quickly in succession, but still the dates were not exactly the same. The way they did it was not exactly the same. Different sets of rules when you go into details were applied. And that same you can see now also with the deconfinement processes. Why is that important here? Because for example, using the example of Belgium, because I'm based here at the moment, Belgian authorities have had a very, let's say, conservative way of counting not only the infected, but also the fatalities, the death number of people because of COVID. So actually, about 1/4 of the total amount of death related to COVID, according to the Belgian authorities, are actually not 100% confirmed if it was of COVID, but those are suspected to be because of COVID. Which therefore, as you might know, Belgium has the largest rate within Europe of death per capita because of the COVID. But if you then put into question almost a quarter of those cases, then it becomes a bit more plausible why the official numbers are that high, and maybe the real numbers are not as high as it seems. But why do I say all this? Because even though most of the countries of the 22 EU Schengen countries are opening up the borders these days, these border reopenings are done in different ways and different ways to different countries, even within the same area of countries and within Europe. So as for example, from the UK and also from Belgium, there are some countries like Greece and like other countries who are allowing them to enter as of now, but they will still have a certain measure of quarantine or certain additional measures of security related to the relatively high number of COVID cases that was seen in those countries. So again, the dates therefore are quite spread out. Today seems to be a landmark in that from today at once a lot of people can start to travel, and a lot of airlines are going to work on that. And hope that will happen and it will be accepted. And I come to this in a later part of the board. But travel will also, from the airlines' perspective, will be increasing. The frequency will be increasing throughout June. Then in the 1st of July, there will be also some countries outside of Europe, Egypt as an example, announcing their borders will be open for outside tourists and in general for outside visitors. And the whole flight timetable of the major airlines will successively increase by time throughout the summer into August, and only in September maybe we will see a more ramped up timetable. So that's on one hand, but now let's get into what can we expect. If we are going to travel now, what can we expect at the moment from flying? So in terms of travel experience, we have to expect, which is something I guess was clear for everybody from the get-go, that when it will start, still health will be above all. So it means already there are reports that almost everywhere where the airports are opening up, there are temperature screens at the entrance of the airports. Only passengers can enter into the airport building. You will have mandatory face masks to be worn by all guests and by all passengers entering upon entry of the airport building, and throughout the process, throughout security, throughout the flights themselves as well. So health above all, and I think that's pretty logical right out of the gate. There will be for sure less amenities. So there have been already first flight reports of people who have already been starting to fly within Europe and in general that right from the airport building itself, shops will be possibly a bit slow to open. Lounges will be reduced in numbers and even maybe also in size. Also in lounges and in general, food supply will not be as lavish and as it was before. And there I put also in brackets the notion of secondary suppliers, because I've seen a lot of comments about passengers recently kind of complaining, especially on the amenity side in lounges, etc., where they were saying, but okay, just giving out some sweets and coffee and tea. I mean, you could have something more. On one hand, I can understand that, but on the other hand, what I think a lot of times is forgotten in this discussion, many other points that I see at the moment discussed on the internet, is the question of secondary suppliers, for lack of a better word. And what do I mean by this? Is that we oftentimes, and I think now it will be clear for all of us while we are going through this phase in this next month of the deconfinement of the skies, I will call it, is that what kind of chain of suppliers is actually needed to run an airport and to run the airport, the flights and everything. So from from security companies who are dealing with not only the security that we all know about, but also the things that we don't necessarily see. And maybe they are going to do also the health checks in terms of the temperature scan and the entries. To baggage handlers. And actually there we had in Brussels now the first case that just a couple of days before the opening today, the main luggage handler of the Brussels airport called Swissport actually announced that they went bankrupt. So they were scrambling now to get this rolling without any glitches. So that's maybe something that we're going to see more of in other airports, in other scenarios. Catering companies. So when we talk about amenities and when we talk about lounges and food supply and these kind of things, and then also for the planes, maybe one of the reasons, apart from health reasons, direct health reasons, might also be that which kind of fatalities or bankruptcies might we still see, or in general difficulties to cater as they could before for airports, for flights, might be happening with the suppliers of catering and other things. So we have to keep that in mind and keep an eye on that. And that might also be a reason why in the next weeks and months in some airports and some markets, there will be some hiccups along the way. And I think that's to be expected. Then there will be longer waits for sure. Even though on the one hand, you could argue that travel demand will probably not be back as quickly. At the same time, the security checks, screenings, additional safety measures, they will just take that little bit more of time and patience by everyone involved. And I think that's, in my humble opinion, that's a relatively small price to pay for those of us who are really eager to get over this period where we were really locked in and confined and would like to go out into the world. I think these kind of points, in my opinion, would be points that we should take into our stride, get used to them for the time being, but take them knowing that we're grateful that we can again exercise, let's say, our freedom of movement in that aspect, that we can visit other places and go and not only be confined to where we are here. At the same time, I put it here as airlines and passengers. It's not one against another, but it's clear that airlines without passengers, passengers without airlines, those are the two main components of aviation. So those are the two main components that we should have a look at. And on the airline side, I put here the equation of bold against calculated. So I really didn't want to put anything here that would go along the lines of winners or losers, who would win out of the situation, who would lose, because I don't like this type of equation. But it's clear already that there is a large difference between the different airlines in their approach. There are some airlines, especially low-cost airlines, who are very confident and who are saying, okay, travel demand for holidays will be back, maybe not full-fledged as in 2019, that's for sure. Even they subscribe to the general outlook that 2019 levels of travel will not be back until earliest 2023, maybe even 2024. But bold in terms of demand will be back maybe higher than we initially expected. And therefore they ramp up their schedule of flights and routes maybe more aggressively than other companies. And then other companies saying, for whatever reason, we just have received a bailout with which we have to deal responsibly and see how we are waging that against possible layoffs and restructuring and other many reasons that they can have to say, we are actually just going to reschedule and to put ourselves out there again, really in small considerate steps and calculated steps, and really just test the waters in the beginning successively and see step by step how the demand really is, and then only step by step getting back to some sort of normal normal offers and normal schedules. And on the other hand, that of course largely depends, as it was already said in this argument, that we have here vacation in the passenger side, vacation, so going out there versus the safety and seeing first how things go and if things go smoothly or not when the skies are reopened. So and here I have to be, it has to be said, I have not I'm not putting here vacation because I think that there's not going to be any business travel. I just think that at the moment in this season, June, July, August, even beginning of September, that's the holiday season. And I think in most countries, especially here in Europe, talks are now how can we ensure that our citizens can have some sort of safe holidays if they wish to do so, and at the same time in the regions of Europe where tourism has a major impact on the local economy. Also, how can we ensure that we can offer the safest product to these tourists in order to boost our economy also in a way, and in one of the major points of revamping the own economy. So I think that's why I put vacation here is a top point on this side of the equation, on the passengers side of the table, and not business travel, which for sure will also come back to normal at some or come back again at some point, but probably will also be slower, especially with all the online meeting softwares out there that have gained such a huge popularity during the confinement period. So probably that will also be slower to come back. But then on the other hand, you have the safety question, where a lot of people are just questioning: is it still safe? Is it already safe to fly? Are the safety measures that are in place going to be actually helpful or not? Will they be able to prevent outbreaks or cases reported or not? And that remains to be seen. That of course is not clear until some time has passed and we can measure it more effectively. So safety, and in some point, which I have not written here as a point, but also not only safety, but also people in hardship who have lost their jobs, who have lost their main income. Will they be able to, even not only in safety reasons, but because of safety reasons, but will they be able to afford flying? So that's also another point, which therefore these equations on both sides of the coin, let's say in some way, they will, I think, decide in the next weeks and months how the recovery of aviation is going to happen. If it's going to be quicker than we anticipated, slower than we anticipated, what kind of problems will maybe arise that we don't know of yet and we don't think about yet. And so the main points, I think, on the airline side, on their mind, will be how can we push forward our consolidation and stay alive, stay relevant, and see how quickly can we do it and how efficiently can we do it. And on the passenger side, you will have the question of trust, as I said, on safety issues especially, and together with trust, it will also the major question that is looming out there is the question about the vaccine. So how quickly will we see the vaccine actually found? Because only when the vaccine will be there, will be a certain insurance policy, let's say, that travel indeed and generally life can go back to a certain normality because the vaccine has been found. So until that's there and that's out there and not only found but also practicable and developed enough so it can be rolled out everywhere. Until that's done, there will also always be this looming question mark over all these things, not only aviation, but in general, coming back to normality, some sort of normality in real life, of if it's not done efficiently enough or well enough, then when a second wave might come and we still don't have a vaccine, what do we do? So here you go. I hope that overview has put things maybe a bit into perspective. I would be really interested to know what you guys think about it. I'm sure there are lots of more things that can be said here, but not going to do a 1 hour video here. So yeah, really interested to see what you guys think. Please write in the comments or write me a message. What would you like to see maybe of those points be looked at more in detail? And yeah, so I'll lead you into the outro and see you next time. So thanks a lot for watching. I hope you liked it. Please, like always, write me, comment, like if you like the video, and of course, please feel free to subscribe. Would make my day. And then once you subscribe, you can also click the notification button to know when the next video is going to be up. And yeah, looking forward to that one. Stay safe and healthy, and have a good week. See ya.